I knew something was wrong the moment the officer asked, "Ma'am, is this an act-off emergency?" My hands were steady. Too steady. The kind of steadiness that comes only after you've broken past fear and landed in clarity. Behind me, laughter floated from the backyard, the same backyard I'd spent 4 days transforming into a wedding venue. Lights, tents, tables. I'd sanded myself. The officer waited for my answer. He watched my family move like distant actors on a stage I'd built but wasn't invited to. "Yes," I said. My voice didn't tremble. "It's an emergency." And that was the moment everything started to unravel. I hadn't planned on hosting the wedding. My sister Leela had asked in that sweet practice tone she reserved for getting her way. My parents had chimed in, praising her practicality. My vacation home had the space, the scenery, the prestige. Of course, I agreed. Families do that, right? They help. Or so I told myself while kneading dough for horse duvers at 2:00 am. Leela barely spoke to me during the setup week. My parents floated around her like she was the bride of a royal house, not the girl who once needed me to help her pass algebra. Every time I tried to engage, I got the same distracted, dismissive smile like I was a staff member. They forgot they didn't pay. I ignored it. Love makes fools out of the responsible ones. The first red flag came 3 days before the wedding. A clipboard left on the counter. A guest list, a quick scan. My name wasn't on it. I assumed it was anniversary. I even laughed about it to myself because what kind of sister forgets her own sister? When I asked Leela later, she blinked at me as though I'd interrupted a sermon. "Oh, the planner must have missed it. I'll fix it." She didn't write anything down. The second red flag came when my mother told me to park behind the shed on the wedding day so the vendors have space. Vendor. She said it casually like it had always been my title. But I swallowed the sting. I kept arranging flowers. Families do that, right? Ignore the little things. The breaking point arrived at the check-in table on the day off the event. I approached in my dress. Simple, elegant, chosen specifically so I wouldn't overshadow the bride. My father stood nearby, beaming at guests who were ushered inside without hesitation. The planner stopped me. "Name?" "You know my name," I said. She smiled tightly. "Just formality," I told her. She flipped the pages once, twice, a third time. "It seems you're not on the list." My father stepped in. "Don't make a scene," he murmured, lips still smiling. "That's just how it is." Just how what is? That was when my mother placed a gentle hand on my arm. Gentle like a soft slap. "Sweetheart, it's Leela's day. Let's not complicate things." Complicate. I felt something inside me snap with a quiet surgical precision. I stepped back, watched them greet strangers with more affection than they had ever shown me. And the truth settled over me like cold ash. I wasn't a guest. I was labored. I found Leela behind the tent adjusting her veil. "You left me off the guest list," I said. She didn't even turn around. "It wasn't personal. It's my house." "Well, technically it's your vacation house," she corrected. "And we figured you'd be busy helping. We didn't want you to feel pressured to, socialize." My chest hollowed out. "So you decided for me." "Don't be dramatic," she sighed. "You're good at tasks." It made sense. I felt myself shrink and sharpen all at once. Not crying, not yelling, just breaking, and once a thing breaks, it can bear-shaped. I left her there, veil crooked, walked back to the house, sat at my kitchen island, the one they'd covered with trays of food I'd made. I opened the security app, camera logs, motion alerts, audio clips from the week, and there it was. My parents' ancestor discussing how they wanted a clean guest list. How outsiders would assume I wasn't related because she doesn't fit the family aesthetic. How removing me entirely would keep the photo lineup perfect. Perfect. I watched them laugh, strategize, erase me. But they'd forgotten one thing. This was my property and they had gathered inside it like trespassers drunk on entitlement. I looked at the timestamp. All guests had arrived. Perfect. So I dialed 911. "Ma'am, what's the emergency?" "My home is being used for an event," I said without the owner's consent. I opened the front door, stepped onto the porch, watched the police cars approach from down the hill. The planners saw them first. Panic spread like dye in water. Officers walked in asking for permits, contracts, authorization, all of which listed no legal permission from the owner. The wedding shut down in under 20 minutes. Guests streamed out in confused clusters. My parents' smiles finally cracked. Leela's mascara streaked like war paint. I stood by the gate, calm in a way I hadn't felt in years. Why would you do this? Leela choked. Because I said that's just how it is. They left. All of them. When Thehil grew quiet again, I stepped inside me empty home mine again and breathed. Relief tastes colder than revenge, but twice as clean. And I prefer clean.